What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and this one to break down what's going on with the market so far. I'm going to talk about SPY, Tesla, and the QQQ, and break down some very important technical analysis on them. Talk about what the news is saying, what data is dropping today that's going to affect the markets. Now, before I break anything down about all this information, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also don't forget about the Moo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in just 3 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So I'm going to switch over to Tesla on TradingView right now and talk about something very important. Now, Tesla's currently at about 242.5 as of right now. And if you look at Tesla, you can draw out this falling wedge-like pattern. Now, many of the bears are going to come out and say that Tesla has a potential death cross on the 15 to 200. You could argue that, however, it isn't really confirmed just yet. That's the first thing to note. And yes, Tesla has been relatively weak, but it has this falling wedge and is holding the support right here. So the question is, will Tesla bounce, right? The market's looking like it wants to bounce a little bit. If you look at the news that's coming out, right? The S&P 500 slightly has risen as investors await economic data in a run-up during the month. We're approaching the end of the quarter as well, so that is a possibility. But right now, we have a lot of data dropping, and the market's going to be reacting to this. We had the building permits report that came out. The market ended up just holding up as a result of it. Very soon, we have some more data coming out. We have the house pricing index coming out. We have the consumer confidence report coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Then we also have the new home sales coming out at 10 a.m., followed by at 10:30 a.m. the Dallas Fed Services Index. So all of this is going to be very, very important. I want everyone to just be prepared for all of this. There's going to be a lot of volatility during the first, I would say, hour of the trading day. We're going to see a lot of data dropping, so be very careful. This could cause the market to switch directions. But if anything, the market's looking optimistic, and we are seeing some signs that a lot of those institutions were buying the dip at the very end. They dipped it down just to get better prices, and they may make an attempt to push the market up. Now, if that's the case, okay, the thing about Tesla is it drops so hard that Tesla could make an attempt to push up, right? Tesla could try, let me just make this a little bigger. Tesla could try to push up just a little bit. But the question is, how much will Tesla be able to push up? Because even if Tesla pushes all the way up to 247, right, we're still going to be at the top of this resistance, or at the upper resistance line, basically. And that's not going to confirm a breakout, right? It could push up quite nicely like this first, but that's not going to confirm Tesla breaking out of this area. If Tesla wants to turn more bullish, we want to see something like this where it breaks all the way up to about 250 or so, and then it rejects. Maybe it gets like a back test, small little back test, and then it just like starts pushing like in this direction, right? This would be like the bullish signal for Tesla, something like this, right? A break out of this falling wedge. However, going back, right? What it all depends on how Tesla reacts to this resistance. Does Tesla, hit this resistance as the market bounces, but then Tesla fails at 247 and ends up coming down, right? This is also another possibility to fill the gap before like another breakout later on, just for example and just for reference, right? So I don't know which one it's going to be. And that's the reason why I'm watching this 247 area right here very carefully. Let's see how Tesla reacts to this zone right here. This is also a confluence because 247 was the previous support, which is now going to become resistance, and it happens to be just where, or very close to where, the breakout area could be from this falling wedge. So watch 247, that zone, very carefully. 247 to 250 if Tesla does make an attempt to get there. If it breaks that, Tesla could try to reverse. That would be very awesome to see. If not, if Tesla gets rejected, it could still be on a downtrend, even if it pumps up a little bit in this falling wedge. So I want to make that as clear as possible. We need to watch for confirmation. Do I know what's going to happen? My answer is I do not know exactly how this is going to play out, because this is going to depend a lot on the data and how it affects the technicals. So all this data is coming out, right? We have some Fed index reports coming out. We have new home sales. We have the consumer confidence report and a bunch of different things. They're going to be coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time and also 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So 30 minutes and 1 hour after the market opens, expect lots of volatility, and please be ready for that. Now, let me also add that on SPY, we have the same thing developing, at least something very similar as Tesla. If you look at SPY, we also have this falling wedge that has been developing too, but there's no guarantee it's breaking out just yet. We're currently still sitting at resistance. We're stuck right about here on this 432 area. we're not breaking out yet, so we have to be very, very patient and wait to see if we get confirmation. If SPY manages to hit 433 plus, and then we're going to be watching this thing make its way up to about 434 as resistance next. And after that comes 435.16 to 435.06, that entire zone right there. If it gets above all of that, if it breaks out of this thing, right, it's going to likely try to fill this gap all the way up to about getting very close to about 436. That is a possibility if we get a bullish breakout. And how could this be triggered? Maybe the data that comes out is what the market likes, and the market gets a very positive reaction, right? That's a possibility. We talked about this yesterday, but the problem is there's no confirmation of it just yet at the time I'm recording this, so I can't make that call. There's always a possibility that maybe it tries to break out and just rejects and it ends up sinking. That's a possibility. There's also a possibility the market tries to break out. Now, it is looking a little bit more likely the market's going to try to break out as we're seeing positive news come out, and there's a bullish divergence developing on SPY. But we have to watch for that confirmation. Can SPY manage to get above these critical resistance levels? Can this thing break out? Can SPY break above 433 plus, break above these resistance levels? We also have a 1 hour 50 and 200 EMA, both very close to the 433s. Can we get above those? If we manage to get above these and we continue to hold, this thing can start flying much closer to 436 and get a breakout. That would help the market, at least, or at least this would be dictated by the market simultaneously. And that would be very awesome to witness. But once again, wait for confirmation. See if this thing can break and hold above the mid, like 433s. If it does so, that's going to be a very good sign because there's going to be more room for it to push afterwards. For Tesla, like I said before, the most important resistance for Tesla for today is going to be 247. Can Tesla break and hold above 247? If it does so, watch 250. Once again, I mean, if we get above 250, it's going to be a good sign for Tesla to try to continue pushing. But if Tesla does try to push up a little bit more, then it rejects off the like 247, for example. There's also going to be a gap that it's forming because it is gapping up in the pre-market. If it rejects, there's also the possibility that Tesla will fail to break out and come all the way back down to the 235 area. So it's all about 247. Could we break above it and hold it, or do we get rejected, right, from the falling wedge? Let me just show you one more time. You got to watch that very carefully. That's what I'm seeing on Tesla, basically. Now, to add on to this, this is what this is basically looking like. Watch this very, very carefully on the falling wedge. Could Tesla break out, or is Tesla going to reject? That's very important to witness. Let me also add, last but not least, for the triple Q. It's very similar to Tesla in a way. This thing is currently at 359 fighting some resistance. If it gets above 361.32, that's going to be a very, very more bullish signal in my eyes, and this thing could start breaking out of its wedge. But it's not even close to that. It's just a couple of dollars away. It's still in the 359s. It's not very close to about getting close to 362 or anything like that. So we have to watch for confirmation. Could we get above the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame? Could we break out in a strong manner, or are we going to get rejected after this attempt? If it rejects off 360, it could continue to sink down to where the gap is at 355. If it manages to hold above 36, 1 plus, maybe getting closer to 362, you're going to be watching 363 to potentially 366 to get retested. That's a possibility, not a guarantee. So you're going to be watching this resistance at the 15 to 200. If it rejects and comes down and it ends up just failing, you're going to be watching support at 357.5 and potentially 355. Those are some important levels, and we have a gap down at 355 to look out for. So watch all of that on the QQQ. With that said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget there's going to be a lot of volatility during the first 30 minutes and first hour of market open because of all this data that's dropping. Be prepared for that and do what you guys have to do, okay? Thank you for listening. Watch for confirmation. Be very, very patient, and I will see you guys very, very soon in the next video. Tesla to the moon alongside the whole market as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.